All right. Day one coverage has come to a close here. We're a little past 5 o'clock. So what a day it was, guys. What a day one of free agency it was. Unlike most years, I think this year was a little bit different. The team actually did some stuff. The team actually made moves and also had a couple of moves happen to them, in fairness. I want to be clear here, but they actually did a few things, and it seems like they fared fairly well. So let's talk about this day one just kind of in a general sense real quick before I get out of here. But I think that today was successful. It's obviously not over yet. I know that it was a little bit frustrating for people to watch some of the things that happened happen while the Seahawks didn't do as much as other teams, but I think it's important to know that there is a real possibility that the teams that made a lot of the deals that went down today end up regretting them because it's the first day of free agency and that's when you pay your premiums. So I'm looking at a lot of the things that teams did today, and I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Tyler Linderbaum for 27 million a year. I struggle with that. He's a center. I don't know if any center is worth that money. I look at the kind of money that Jalen Naylor got, 10.5 million a year or something like that. And I think to myself, I don't see that. I look at the linebackers that the Raiders signed, and they're good players. I don't think they're worth 8 figures a year. And most of the deals you look at today, Jalen Phillips going to the Panthers, that struck me as ridiculous. I just don't see a lot of things that I wish the Seahawks did. Maybe a couple of moves that I wish the team had done instead of the team that did them. But overall, I look at these deals and I find myself thinking, even with inflation, this does not make sense to me. I don't see how Zion Johnson gets $50 million. I don't see how Boye Mafe got what he got. I don't see how Odafe Owe, and I like Odafe Owe maybe a little bit more than the average person. I don't see how he's worth 50, what did he get? $100 million. So there were a couple others that didn't make a lot of sense to me, and I just find myself asking, and this goes for Seahawks fans, but pretty much anybody out there, which of these deals did you wish the Seahawks had done instead? Or your whatever your team is. I don't think there are that many that you're really envious of. So I'm chilling. I'm cool here. Basically, 5 of our 6 major free agents had their situations resolved today. We re-signed Shaheed. We re-signed Job, and I'm for that. Those are 2 guys that I preferred to bring back. And honestly, on the issue of Shaheed, I thought it was over. So to me, getting Shaheed back for a not crippling cost is like finding a $20 bill in my pocket that I didn't know was there. So to me, getting Shaheed, and look, 17 million a year, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I don't think it's that uncomfortable. So, excuse me, been talking all day today. It's a little bit tough right now, but I really like that, and I love the Job signing. I think the Job signing is fantastic. 8 mil a year, 3 years. That's a good player right there. That completely relaxes our need to go after another corner in free agency, somebody like a Marlon Humphrey, where we're crossing our fingers that he can bounce back after a really bad 2025. We got Job, who is young, who has proven himself across the last really 2 seasons of being an effective player. Yes, he's not as good as the best corners in the league, but he's good enough to do what we need him to do. And now you're freed up. You can take a corner in the draft if you want to. You don't have to now. You don't have to do that. So Boye Mafe's gone. Not going to miss him at that price. Kobe Bryant's gone for a reasonable cost, but not one where I'm like, oh man, we really should have done that. I just struggle to find Kobe Bryant to be that level of player. And of course, the Ken Walker thing, which I'm not in it. I don't love the fact that he's gone. I like Ken Walker. I think he's a good player, but I struggle to put him at that price.
Well said, boss.
Oh, thank you, Discombobulated, for the $2 super chat. Um, and look, going into day 2 now, because today was day 1, we took care of wide receiver, we took care of cornerback. The problems now are basically running back, edge rusher, safety depth. Those are really the problems that you're trying to address so you're not destitute. And we're kind of destitute at running back, I will grant you. But I think running back more than most other positions, we have learned over the years, you can lose a big name, get a guy that people perceive to be much worse, and not lose as much as people think. So I'm okay with them risking it at running back. That's a position where it makes sense to risk downgrading and roll the dice a little bit. That's a position where there's some wisdom in going, hey, let's just find a guy and let's lean on the offensive line and the scheme to carry the day. That's what Shanahan does, and it worked well for a long time. I know eventually he gave in and got Christian McCaffrey, but for a long time he would take random dudes and get great production out of them, and that's it. So I will admit that it's uncomfortable at that position right now, but that is a position where you can piece it together with spare parts easier than almost any other position. And edge rusher, to me, okay, there's a lot of guys left. They're not the best guys, they're not the top guys, but there are good edge rushers left. A lot of them are going to be older guys. A lot of them you're going to be crossing your fingers on a little bit, but you can replicate the DeMarcus Lawrence signing from last year a little bit here. You can go get guys that are old, that maybe want a ring, that still have something left, that would benefit from playing in a tight rotation. There are a lot of guys like that left. So to me, that is doable as well. And the way that we're not really spending a ridiculous amount of money so far, we may not even need to release Uchenna Nwosu. So maybe we're getting to the point where he's just going to come back, which I'm not going to say I love, but I still think he can play football at a competent level. That helps. I don't think he's some net negative or a nothing player. So I'm having a hard time being stressed out by this. I think that we did a good job today. I think that we have the opportunity to do a good job tomorrow and the next day. And we may not be adding the firepower of these other teams. Like, I understand the Rams are killing it right now in a way that we're not. They trade for McDuffie. They signed Jalen Watson. They completely updated their biggest weakness from last year. That's tough. That is tough. I admit that. I got no problem with that. But at the end of the day, we have our core. We have our core, and we want to keep that core together. And that core is either already together or in the process of being put together. And I understand that they feel like they need to win with that core that they have. They can't add more to the core. They need to find rotational pieces around the core. And sometimes that means losing good players, trying to find cheaper ones, and hoping it works out. So I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm hoping that we come in here with something a little bit more juicy tomorrow, of course. I'd like to sign a bigger name, but at the same time, I look at a lot of the big names that are getting signed,
If
and I'm
C
like,
can't
I
trade
don't get
down
it.
at 32, do you think they take Cease?
Discombobulated, I'll address that in a moment. Thank you for the donation, but yeah, basically what I'm just trying to say is the Seahawks, I think, had a good first day. Yes, some of these guys are going to be missed. I will miss Ken Walker. On some level, I'll miss Kobe Bryant. I wish we signed this guy or that guy or the other guy, but at the same time, sometimes you got to let the other teams just outbid you and walk away when the time is to walk away. Okay, so see you guys later. Go Hawks. Just wanted to go ahead and wrap that up. Good day. Let's see what we do tomorrow, and go Hawks.